I said like Oracle is RDBMS based product. And in this RDBMS, we have discussed what is database, what is DBMS, and then what is RDBMS, yesterday's class. And you can see all these things here. Database. First, we have discussed about database. And database, we had a comparison with file system. Then we went with to understand what is database management system, that is DBMS. And then we have listed types of DBMS. And then we have come up with introduction to RDBMS. Yeah, these all things we studied yesterday. Right. Yesterday's class it was. Today, we are going to learn about topics introduced in Oracle. Refer to .png file. Okay. I'll come up with all the topics which Oracle Corporation has introduced for a developer to learn Oracle. Okay. So let's understand that. Okay. Here I'll mention and I'll give all the topics and whatever the content we are going to cover towards an overview of the subject. Topics of Oracle. Okay. And here what you learn is first, Oracle Corporation in Oracle made available with two modules. Two modules. Yeah. Two modules. What are those two modules? What are those two modules? This is first module. And this is second module. First module is SQL. That is called Structured Query Language. First module. And second is we are going to study PL/SQL. That is procedural SQL. SQL is same. Structured Query Language. This is one module, that is SQL, that you can describe as structured query language. Second is PL/SQL, and that is procedural SQL. Procedural SQL. Two things. And remember, whether it is SQL or PL/SQL, both these modules in Oracle are considered to be a backend. Both of them. Yes. SQL is also backend and PL/SQL is also backend. Okay. And now remember, under SQL, Oracle Corporation has made available with three modules. Three. And we are going to study all the three in a step-by-step process. Yeah. This is first part. This is second part. And this is third part. Three modules. And first part is called sub-languages. Second is SQL star plus. And third is SQL objects. Yeah, this is one module of SQL, SQL star plus is extension of this SQL part, and third is SQL objects. Total 3 parts are there. Under sublanguages, I won't explain them. I'll just make a list of those languages, what we are going to study in it. Separate SQL is introduction to SQL is one separate topic we have. And at that time, I'll explain you detail about every language. But at this stage, I'll just make a list now. Yeah. What are they? One language is what you call DQL or DRL. That is called data query or data retrieval language. Second is called DML, data manipulation language. TCL, that is called transaction control language. DDL, that is called data definition language. And then we have something called DCL, data control language. SCL or SPL, session control or protein language. That is the expansion of all these sub-languages. That is how you are going to use them in our sessions. Total 6 sub-languages. Okay. So let me describe them for your reference. Yeah. What did you say? DQL, DRL. I called data query or retrieval language. DML, data manipulation language. TCL, transaction control language. DDL, data definition language. DCL, data control language. And finally, SCL or SPL, that is called session control or protein language. Yes, these are our 6 languages. And SQL Star Plus has no this one classification. We got topics in it to study. That at the time we come across, we'll discuss that. And then remember, under SQL objects, we have a lot of things to study. And with this only, we'll be winding up our SQL part with this. Whenever I conclude this SQL objects, it means we are done with SQL part. And what do we learn in SQL objects? Remember, under SQL objects, you learn about tables, one object. Tables is one object. Second, constraints, second type of object. Views, third type of object. Synonyms, one more type of object. Sequences, one type of object. Indices, one more type of object. Clusters, one more type of object. Table, constraints, views, synonyms, sequences, indices, clusters. These all are part of what? SQL object. Tables are of type, constraints are of type, views are of type, synonyms are of type, sequences have no classification. Indexes, index plural is indices, okay? Plural of indexes, indices. Clusters. So in this, you have almost every topic has some detailed classification, except sequences. Except sequences. These are the things that will be covered under what? SQL object. Tables mein what? Tables mein types are there. One is called temporary table. One is called dictionary table. One is called user-defined table. Okay. Yeah. And then constraints mein 3 types are there. Domain, entity, integrity. Domain, entity, reference. 3 types. Views mein types are there. Simple views, check option views, read-only views, complex views, force views, materialized view types. Synonym, private synonym, public synonyms. Sequences, no classification. Indices में types are there. Simple index, composite index, bitmap index, function-based index, right? Types are there. Clusters in with no classification. Okay, that is what you discuss under SQL objects. Then you go to PL SQL, and remember here under PL SQL, under PL SQL, first point to remember is you have what we are going to do. This is related with coding actually. This PL SQL is related with what? Coding. I just mentioned here. Deals with programming. Yeah. PLSQL is about programming. But it is not that programming what you usually come across in programming languages. No. This compared to that, it is very simple programming you would find compared to what programming languages. Programming of PL SQL is very simple to learn. Okay. And one more thing. Under PL SQL, Oracle Corporation has made available with two modules again. Yes, two modules. This is one module, and this is second module. Yeah, two modules are there. Two modules. What do you call them? One module is named as anonymous or unnamed blocks. Stored in buffer. So they are called anonymous block. They are not stored in database. Anonymous or unnamed blocks. Where they are? They are stored in buffer. And second we have, those are called stored or named blocks. Stored or named blocks. Yes. Stored or named blocks. And these are stored in database. Stored or named blocks. They are stored in what? Database. And one more thing, especially in this anonymous block programming, we are going to learn all these topics as per programming I'm saying. And what that all includes is basic programming, we'll see, right? One module it is basic programming. This is first part. Then we'll study about embedded SQL. Then we'll study about exception handling. And then we'll study about dynamic SQL. Okay. Yeah, basic programming, embedded SQL, then exception handling, dynamic SQL. But for this embedded SQL, dynamic SQL, this SQL, you should be first very clear. This SQL part here. Then only this embedded and dynamic SQL. Through coding, we implement it. Through coding. Embedded SQL, dynamic SQL. Then we'll study about cursors. Then we'll study about bulk collect. Bulk collect. Basic programming में all those things will study. Basic programming includes, input output statement. Generally programming languages में what you find, those things will be available here. Basic programming में you have, these all things. Input output statements, operators, control statements. In that control statements, you will learn how to work with if condition, types of if conditions, and looping construction. We learn about while, for, loop and loop. These are types of loops. We have something to study about go-to statement, basic programming. Then we learn how to communicate with SQL from program. That is embedded SQL. Then we learn about exception handling. Exception handling, but types are there again. built-in exception, user-defined exception, pragma exception. Those things will be part of it. Okay. And then we go with something called stored block programming. Stored block programming. Under stored block programming, these all topics will be covered in it. These all. What are they? One, stored procedures. Yeah. One, stored procedures. This is one of the mostly used topics for real-time programming, because it is stored in database, because it provides security, because it provides readability, because it provides reusability, it provides extensibility. These are benefits when you go with stored block programming. For that reason, mostly preferred topic in real time could be stored procedures. Then we have something to study with stored functions. This is one more part we have. Stored procedures. And second is what? Stored functions. And one more thing, combination of procedures and functions together we call as stored packages. Stored packages. So stored packages is a combination of stored procedures and stored functions. And then we learn about stored triggers. And finally, we learn about stored types. The stored types we actually cover a part of ORDBMS. Stored type. We learn about ORDBMS. And especially for this ORDBMS, we learn how to create a class, how to create object, right? Then we learn about what is data hiding, what is data abstraction, what is data encapsulation. We learn what is function overloading, that is called method overloading, and all those things. Yeah, those will be part of what? ORDBMS. And we learn about something called, about what do you call collections. Those things will be discussed under a topic called ORDBMS. So this is the plan for our content, what we are going to cover. Obviously, lot of new things that you come across as new features of different versions of Oracle. Yeah. You have anything to ask in this part? Go ahead. If not, I'll start my next topic. Everyone answer. Topics of Oracle. Yeah. Fahad, was it clear for you? Did you understand everything?
Yes, I did understand.
Okay, right. Pavitra?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shweta?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Surendra?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Right. Right. Before I go further, let me make you another important point. And what exactly it is listen. Yes. Now we are going to learn the next part, that is called life cycle of database. Life cycle of database. Okay. And here what you learn, remember, database life cycle will go with three phases. Three phases. Yeah, this is one phase. Okay. And this is one more phase. And finally, the third phase. Third. Total 3 phases. Yeah. In every phase, the process will go in a systematic way. From phase 1, it will go to phase 2. From phase 1, it will go to okay. This is phase 1. That will go to phase 2. What happens in it, I'll explain now. Yeah, phase 2. And from phase 2, it will go to phase 3. Phase 3. Then, first comes designing. First part, designing. Second is development. Third one is administration. Yes. Designing stage. Second, development stage. Then administration. Yes, 3 phases. Okay, three phases. What are the profiles? What are the profiles of these 3? Designing is related with architect. Development will be managed by developer. Database administrator. Yes, 3 things. Designing, architect, development, developer, and administration, database administrator. That is called DBA. Okay, DBA. Yeah. And remember, in every phase, the process always goes like this. If designing is correct, then development will be correct. Yeah. From designing to development. And from development to administration. Yeah. And what is that you find is, especially in designing, there are some responsibilities for an architect, right? I'll give you an example. For example, if you want to construct a building, if you want to construct a house, residential building. So for that construction of a building, definitely you approach to a person who has knowledge of construction, who has knowledge of designing. He is something related with architect now. So what would you do then? You approach to him, you explain him what you want in your construction of a building. Is it we do or not? Is it a general case or not? You approach to a person who has knowledge of that construction, who studies about that construction related things. So definitely you approach to him, you explain him exactly what you want in the building, how many rooms you want, what should be the length and breadth of the room. Everything you have to explain him, everything. Then he'll understand your requirement. And then based on it, he started designing. Exactly same thing we go with this here in database. For example, if I want to start my own business, and that business is related with supermarket. I want to start a business related with supermarket. So what I want my business to be computerized. I want my business to be what? Computerized. So for that, what I will do, I'll approach the person who can make me design of what? My database. So now that is the reason the first responsibility of architect, planning and analyzing client requirements. So first understand what client needs, what client needs, what client is asking for. Okay. Client requirements. Yeah. First responsibility. Plan correctly, analyze correctly what client is needed for his database for his business. What is he asking? What he wants to maintain in his database? Everything. First, be clear on that. Or be clear on that. Then only you go with proper, design. Plan and analyze, two things. After that comes designing of database. Plan correctly, analyze correctly, then designing goes correctly. Designing of database. And whatever, sometimes, design will go months together. Design will go months together. Designing of what database, designing will go, what I'm saying, months together. So for that reason, what you would say here is here. What do you say? Designing of database. And in this now, I would highlight saying that designing of database. And whatever he is designing, he should document the designing. Document the designing. Yes. Means he should write in the form of document. He should prepare one MS Word document for designing. He should prepare what? MS Word document for designing. Today, this is what I completed in designing. He should put in the form of document. He can't deny writing the document. He has to. Whatever he is designing, he has to write in the form of what? Document. Why he should write? Reason for writing is so that if he, so I said designing goes sometimes months together. In between, if he leaves the job, then someone who comes as a new architect in place of him, he should know now till what he completed the designing, from where he should start the designing, right? So for that reason, he is supposed to document the designing. It's not about only database environment. Even in the projects also, if you're doing a project related to Java, if you're doing a project related to Python, even if you're developing a project using .NET, compulsory your your project leads, your senior programmers, they will document everything what they are doing in the project. You understand? So what developers are doing, what they are doing in the project, what modules they are developing, what modules they complete, everything they will mention. Yeah. Only then we go with development stage. Yeah. In development stage, we talk about, yeah, creating a database. Yeah. Creating a database. What else? We go with coding. We go with debugging. And we go with writing queries. Writing what queries? Which queries? Here important. Writing. The query should be always fine-tuned queries. Fine-tuned queries. Yeah. Fine-tuned queries. Coding, debugging, writing queries. I said no PL SQL programming. Who will detect errors? Who will find out how the program is working? We only should find. And even we are involved in testing database. Fine-tuned in the sense what? query should be written in such a way that it should go with smooth execution and fast execution. That is what the meaning about fine-tuned queries. Fine-tuned queries. The meaning is this one, fine-tuned. These are the responsibilities of whom? Developer. Developer is involved in these activities. And as a DBA, as a database administrator, here some different things are there. Here, what is it? First point I'm talking about, database maintenance. First point, database maintenance. And what? Database maintenance. What else? Even this is important. Performance monitoring, tuning, and troubleshooting database and server issues. Whatever the performance related, always to be monitoring. Performance to what? Performance to database, performance to RAM, performance to hard disk, performance to processor, performance to network, performance to various things. It's not about one. Everything on which your Oracle is dependent, all those areas you should be checking for its what? Performance. Let me give you an example. Like if you talk about performance to database, 24 cross 7, 365 days, it should work in the same way, the way it is working in its initial stages. Right? If you just compare this concept with a human being, if you compare this with a person, you can see like if you talk about same scenario, performance of a person, morning 9 o'clock, the way you go to office, by the time 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock you return from office, you check yourself the way you will be. The brightness, the activeness that you show in the morning 9 o'clock, that activeness, that brightness you lose by the time you complete a day of your office. So that is our performance. You understand? Our performance is not, stable. Morning you are in some way, afternoon you are in some way, by the evening you are some other way. That cannot be a case of database. Database should behave exactly the same way, the way it is there in its initial stages, and it should be in the same way even after years together. Yeah. If any issues arises at database, if any issues arises at server, if any issues arises at client, these are the things which database administrator will take care of. You understand? And even he is the one who talks about backup, restore, and recovery. This is also one main responsibility of administrator. Backup of database, restore of database, recovery of database. He is also involved in other activities. Involved in other activities. Yeah. Involved in other activities. What activities? One activity. That is connectivity issues. He is the one who resolves. Performance issues. Security problems. Okay? Security problems, connectivity issues, performance issues. Okay? Yeah. Etc. These are the responsibilities of whom? DBA. He is involved in these activities. This is how the life cycle of database goes. Designing to development, development to administration. If designing is correct, development goes correct. If development goes correct, administration will be properly maintained. If designing has an issue, development will create issue. Because that properly it is not developed, DBA has to face those consequences. This is what you call life cycle of what? Database. Yes, let me save this also as life cycle database. Yes. Yeah.